Hi, my name is Dina. I'm a senior at Tulane University and I'm studying finance and management. This past summer, I interned with the Tulane Office of Sustainability as well as Keep New Orleans Beautiful. Throughout this whole summer, I have learned so much more than I ever hoped I would learn, and it's just been a fantastic process. I have changed the way I see nonprofits, the way I see entrepreneurs, as well as how I see myself and my lifestyle in terms of making impact in my community, as well as waste reduction, which is the internship kind of focus as a whole. I've been able to have fantastic conversations with the people in my internship, with this course, and then beyond that, people outside of that, I've been able to be knowledgeable about these conversations. So with this video, I'd like to share 5 things that I learned and I think are important that I got from my internship this summer. Number 1 is work smart and hard. So you may have seen this poster that says work smart, not hard, but I think that mentality has really changed because you can work hard and still be successful and still get things done. So it's really important to kind of work both ways, because if you're going to be skillful and smart, you still need to apply yourself and dedicate yourself. Something that happened to me in my internship this summer was I worked way too long on this one particular project, and it took time away from other things that I could have been doing because I chose to focus my attention on a different area that might not have been as important as if, say, I had applied myself in a different way. So I worked 2 weeks on the New Orleans recycling guide, and that was a lot longer than I needed to do it, and I didn't even get as much done as I should have been doing. So I just needed to focus my attention on the information rather than the visual aspects of it. So I just needed to apply myself in a different way. Number 2 is that change takes time. And there's kind of 2 reasons why I say that. The first is that change is really difficult to create when everyone's not on the same page. I had this experience with Keep New Orleans Beautiful, which is a great organization, but it's a group of volunteers who all have separate jobs and deal with different waste issues across the city. It's hoping to be a group that kind of combines all the efforts, but it only meets quarterly. Everyone has their different priorities, and so there's big disconnect here, and this causes a lot of efforts to be doubled or even forgotten. And so there's not a continuous cause of change in waste. The second reason is that it's very hard to create change when a structure has been around in society for hundreds of years. With recycling and waste in general, plastic bottles were invented in 1947 and aluminum cans were in 1959. And recycling didn't come around until the 1970s. So there was 20 plus years in there where people were just throwing out their recyclables, and it created this system of trash and just throwing things away. And then waste in general, even 100 years ago, there weren't as many people. It was easy to just put the trash to the landfill and forget about it because it wasn't building up the same way as it is today. This also leads into my next point, number 3. So number 3 is think constellationally. And we had this little phrase in one of our readings, as well as I had a small group discussion about it. What everyone kind of came up with in my small group was that it was taking a step back and seeing your little issue maybe as a bigger problem. And as I just mentioned, waste can be a habitual issue. Traditionally, if your parents recycle or waste, it'll probably mean you'll be more inclined to do it. But waste and recycling also has a social and economic part to it. With Keep New Orleans Beautiful, we are required to do this litter index, which is going around New Orleans. We picked specific streets to check every year and kind of rating them from 1 to 4 on the amount of litter. What this litter index has shown is that neighborhoods that are poorer and have less resources tend to have higher litter. And although this, I don't quite know the reason, my best guess is the level of priority. People who may not have certain resources put priority on getting those resources and probably care less about waste. Waste and recycling, if you ask a lot of people, is not a big problem to them. So it's just kind of changing how economic factors impact and social factors kind of impact that if we want to create change with waste reduction. Number 4 is take pride in the small things. With my internship, I spent a lot of time doing small projects that I didn't think initially were that important. But the more I did them, the more I realized that these projects were still projects that needed to get done. But because I was there to do them, it allowed my instructors, the people around me, to do their work that might have a larger impact. So even though I was making small contributions, it eventually grew into a bigger contribution. The other thing is that, as I spoke before, think constellationally. Small projects have a bigger impact, as I just mentioned. I spent 5 hours driving around, rating streets for the litter index, and it kind of makes you think, is this really making a difference? But it can be, and it is, because this is a required thing by Keep America Beautiful for Keep New Orleans Beautiful to remain an affiliate, and this allows them to receive grants. Grants can go into projects. It also goes to the city, where the city can decide where it needs to kind of push its efforts in the areas that might have higher indexes. And so even the little things I've done have really made me realize that I am making an impact, because I've put myself in a position to make a difference. And no matter how small the project, I'm still making a difference. I just wanted to expand on putting myself in a good position, because I believe that no matter where you are, if you're in the right position, you can make the smallest or largest impact you can. And that really makes me think about the future and where I want to be, because I believe I want to make an impact. I want to make change, but it also depends on where I am, and that there are some places that might have smaller impacts than I want. So that's just something that this internship has got me thinking about. So finally, number 5 is the more I know, the more I care. I am a huge advocate for education. I believe that learning and understanding things leads to curiosity, and curiosity leads to kind of critical thinking. I think the more people are exposed to different areas, to different information, the more people are going to become curious about something they're passionate about. And I think service learning kind of really helps me develop that area, because it gave me exposure to something that maybe I didn't like, but I liked this little aspect, and that kind of helped me grow and find my place at Tulane Office of Sustainability. When I first came into my internship, I was interested in recycling. I thought it was important. I wasn't too interested in waste. It was more sustainability that I wanted to focus on. But the more I learned and the more I talked with people who are experts in this field, the more fascinating it became and the more passionate I was. And with that passion, I was able to talk to other people and educate other people and hopefully change the way they think about waste and recycling. And so I think it's super important that people get this opportunity. And I now know about myself that if I don't really find something super interesting, that maybe it's just because I don't understand it. And so I need to kind of go back and try and understand things. And so this is something I'm going to keep going with my life, is making sure that I'm always learning, always understanding, so that I have that curiosity and that I have that passion about things. So that's it. Those are the 5 things that I thought were most important that I got from my internship. I'm so happy I got this opportunity. I have learned more than I thought I ever would. So I am sad it's coming to an end, but I am so grateful for this chance.